This is a home phone from Panasonic. Alright, coming in from Amazon are these. These are Panasonic TG6823EB. Now, I haven't been sent these, I've actually bought these, and I'm going to do an unboxing on them and have a little test of them because I went looking to see if anyone had any thoughts on these other than the confusing Amazon reviews, and didn't manage to get anywhere. There didn't seem to be anyone really unboxing or playing or reviewing home phones, so I figured, what the hey, I'll have a go. There doesn't seem to be any, maybe there's no demand for any. What harm could there possibly be? So these are essentially a 3-pack with an answering machine which does 30 minutes of calls, a Nuisance call blocker built in, and they're a nice kind of two-tone, silver and black. They retail for they're between 60 and 80 pounds on Amazon. I picked them up for 60 pounds, I think, but it might have been 69.99 with a wee bit of a gift voucher or something I had sitting in my payment section. So, advanced telephone answering system with message counter up to 30 minutes, large easy to read display with and 120 names and numbers in a shared phone book with hands-free speaker phone and, on the handset. The shared number phone book thing is actually pretty handy. It means you only have to put it in one and it goes across all of them. I'd say that's probably pretty basic when it comes to home phones, but it's been a while since I've actually had a home phone, so I'm dead excited about it. So there's a white illuminated display and some other bits and pieces on here that you probably see in the description, but I'm quite interested to get into these and have a check. Well, one of the things that was big for me whenever I was picking a set of phones was distance, because in here, in this office, we're a good bit away from where the phone point comes into the house, and I only have one phone point in my house. It's a bungalow with a double garage on the side, so it's actually, there's quite a few walls and things in between us, so it'll be an ultimate test to see how this does when communicating with one of these, because 2 of these will be in the house and then 1 will be out here for me working from home. And we'll have a quick look at one of the phones itself here now, and I was quite intrigued by that. There is a button here which is different to the rest of the buttons. I don't know what it does, so I'll have to look it up in the manual. So obviously here we have a speaker, or a speaker indicator, and that looks to go hands-free whenever you need to. There's an eco button here that can, what was it, 90% battery, more efficient battery life? Something like that, I read that somewhere. There's a number pad here for dialing people, because you can enter in a number and it'll work, like 0898. And then you can use this dial pad to reach people whenever you happen to need them. If you put in numbers, they should hopefully answer the phone. Say, for example, you need to phone a service or something, or an emergency service. You can dial 011 899 88199 119 725 3, just to get in touch with the emergency services. We've got make call and hang up on call, then 2 buttons here which will obviously work with the menu up here, and we have a phone book here. That must be the contrast, maybe. It's black and white, and then that must be forward the call to one of the other units, which would be handy. I'd like to think maybe I should really go through the manual first and work out what all these things are before I suggest that it is. Earpiece here, largish screen, not huge but still large enough. Then around the back we have the speaker grill for the hands-free, and then 2 AAA batteries. AAA? Yeah, we'll go with that, AAA. And that's it. Clear and simple. Now, because it's a 3-pack, that means that there are 2 identical twins in there. You also get 6 batteries, which are orange and made by High Power, whoever they happen to be. There's an emblem up there. I thought it was actually a brand above it, but yep, rechargeable batteries. A quick start guide so that you can see exactly what to do with the bits and pieces inside the box. You have a a phone wire. We have 3 base stations, which we'll have a quick look at now. Which are fairly plasticky. Yeah, they're quite cheap, I suppose, but then it's a 3-pack for 60, 70 quid. And requires a 4.8 volt power connector. That one is identical. Yeah. And then the main base bit has buttons on the front here. Obviously the phone fits in like that. You can see some sort of screen here that must show the amount of calls missed or messages on the answering machine. There's a, I must play them back, delete, don't know, play, forward, back, up, down, volume increase, that kind of thing. Then we have the phone connector goes there, the power goes there. There's something there, which isn't exactly obvious what it is. You can just about see it. It's 4 little, they're not LEDs, they're actually, they look like they're metal. Bizarre. And then there's a helpline number on the side, and your serial number on the bottom. Fair enough. So that goes in there. And then that goes into your wall. And we also have 2 of these. Make that 3. That would be a sensible number for 3 phones. Now it seems fairly obvious what way these go. These have little connectors here that go into the 2 satellite units. Like these. Which, as you can see, they're slightly off to the side, so you can't accidentally push them into another phone. And they are Panasonic 4.8 volt efficiency level V1 power connectors. And then the main one, which goes into the main unit, that is slightly different. That goes in like that. Isn't that amazing? Elsewhere in the box we also get a manual for operating instructions, endo design information, eco design information even, graphic symbols, for use on equipment and their descriptions, alternating current, direct current, protective earth, protective bonding earth, functional earth. And finally we have some foreign language stuff. Oh. Right, so that is the base unit set up, and we're going to go for this. Now, there are a great deal of walls between us and the base unit, so this is going to be an interesting test as to whether or not it works. So it's looking for us to set the date and time, which it's got because I set it on one of the other ones. If I put that on charge, yeah, we'll let that charge up for a bit and then we'll have a go and see if it works. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks and we've had to play with this set of phones, and to be honest, I'm really quite impressed with it because, well, I haven't had a home phone in quite some time, so it's nice to have the novelty of just having a fairly simple to use and working phone. Now, if we look at the, there we go. Oh, whoops. If we look at the signal here, I have no bars, but it still works up here, considering the distance. It says we have an answering phone message, but I haven't checked. Yeah, everything about it does just work quite nicely as a phone. Using the noise reduction thing in the background, I haven't quite noticed that that actually having an effect. I haven't had a noisy phone call where there's been a fissile or something like that on the line. Maybe that is a thing of the past, but the odd time you might get it, especially whenever it comes to international calls. But unless you want me to phone you internationally, I can't really test international calls because there's no one I really want to call internationally right now. The eco mode seems to click into gear on its own whenever when I leave this just lying around the house and go to pick it up, and it's not on charge, I'll notice that it's maybe slipped into the eco mode, which is kind of nice. Whacking it onto the loudspeaker is quite effective. It is nice to be able to just set your phone down and walk away from it and have people talk to you that way. It is loud. It's not fully bodied or anything like that. It's not a speaker to end all speakers, but it works. It's fine for the quality of the British phone line that we have right now. It's just as fine as what you hear out of the Earpiece. Speaking of which, the Earpiece is good. Having looked on the Amazon reviews, I hear a lot of people saying that it's really quiet and they can't hear it very well. Perhaps they have a defective unit. This is perfectly fine. Then, of course, there is the functions inside, for which they are somewhat limited, but to the point. You don't get confused by what you're going through. There isn't a huge amount of features that you're going to get confused by. You fire through these really quite easily. There isn't a lot to complicate, and I'm happy enough with everything that's here. I haven't thought, oh, I wish it featured that. A couple of things that I do like is that if someone else is using one of the other units, it will say line in use across the phone, and that's a really quite a useful feature every time I go to use it, or if someone else goes to use it if I'm on a work call. They'll maybe back off, as opposed to that typical thing where someone starts a phone call and maybe starts dialing and then puts it up to their ear and goes, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were on the phone. Just gets rid of that little aggravation. One thing worth showing off that I didn't actually show off when I first filmed the video was the intercom, which I meant to do. So this icon down here allows me to hit that, and I can do an intercom call through to handset 1 or handset 3, obviously this being handset 2. So if I hit OK, turn up the volume, that's paging.
Hello?
Hello, it's me. I'm just testing out this intercom feature. Have you used it before?
No.
Okay. It means you can phone people around the house.
Oh, okay.
Alright, well, thank you very much. Okay, bye. And that was the intercom feature. So that would be kind of handy if you were to have a bunch of these and put them in bedrooms. Then you could call people individually and say, your dinner's ready, and they'd be able to come down. Isn't that handy? But other than that, yeah, as a home phone, I've never had a problem with Panasonic before. I know my parents had them, and they always swore by them. They were always a good build. The plastic here is enough. It will certainly work okay for the next few years. I can't say that I'll still be using them in about 20 years time, like old rotary phones and things, well, although you can't use those anymore. Yeah, the plastic is durable enough that it'll take quite a few knocks, depending on the type of home that you have. I think it could survive. If you have lots of children who throw the phone around or use the phone a great deal, then yeah, it'll probably show signs of wear and tear quite quickly, but the screen's not going to scratch too easily. The glossy plastic on here there's a protector on there, but obviously that would scratch before the screen gets damaged. The buttons do feel quite durable. There isn't a lot of rise in them, so feeling around whenever you're dialing, you only have I'm not going to call it that, but you have a nubbin on the 5, so you know where you are. But then obviously that noise reduction one is like a hard plastic, and it does look a bit jaunting. It's different. It looks like the NHS logo, to be honest, or Northern Rail. Yeah. People say I sound fine, which is odd because, well, and maybe it's just the nonsense that I babble that makes me sound moronic and ignorant. But they say my voice sounds clear, given the BT line. I haven't noticed any upgraded call quality at all on it. It's just works as well as previous phones. So yeah, thanks Panasonic. Another decent offering. I hopefully will have these for the foreseeable future. And as usual, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments box down below. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Remember to tune in to the Tech Addicts podcast on a Sunday afternoon. We have a new episode every week. And then, of course, Talk Sport on a Wednesday morning at midnight for Inspect Your Gadget. And other than that, take care.